how did you end up joining Obituary in 2010?
Well, I've been friends with Obituary since I was, since like '84. So we've been best friends, good friends. And originally in 2008, Frank Watkins contacted me about filling in on some shows for him because his wife was having a baby. Then that didn't work out, so they kept me in mind. And in 2010, they needed a bass player, so they called me up to help them out. I said, absolutely,
Yeah.
So I was helping them out for about a year, then I quit 6 Feet in 2011, and I joined full-time in 2011.
Okay, so what's your favorite Obituary album?
Well, it's twofold for me because I played on the last two. Those are my favorite because I played on them.
Yeah.
Like this newest one might be my favorite, but if I'm going with the classic Obituary overall, probably Slowly We Rot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite Obituary song to play live?
I love to play Intoxicated. That song's awesome. Till Death, super heavy. I love those.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the album you just released? Do you feel good about it?
Yes. It's a very solid effort. The mix is great. It's got a good mix. The songs, I think, are very catchy and heavy and true to Obituary's style.
How long did it take you guys to write it?
Not long. A couple of songs were already written for months ahead of time, but basically within 3 or 4 weeks it was written.
Oh, wow, that's super quick.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like Obituary is going to continue to release more albums in the future?
Oh, yeah. We're probably on a pace where about every 2 years we'll release one. After it comes out, you got to do some touring and stuff, and so.
Yeah. So, you've also been in death metal bands, Death, 6 Feet Under, Massacre. So which one do you have like a favorite that you like playing with most?
Well, I mean Death, because it was kind of groundbreaking and it kind of set the standard for this genre, so to speak. I've had fun in all the bands, but if someone said you can go back and do one thing again, it would be Death.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've also played live for Gruesome. You played bass live for them. So they're basically like heavily influenced by Death. What's it like playing with Gruesome compared to playing with Death?
It's great. It's familiar style for me, so it was great. Yeah, they had me fill in. I mean, I played a couple songs with them live a few times. And we got a tour coming up in May. Yeah. And I'm with Gruesome. Yeah. So each night I'll be up there playing a song with them.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's an honor, It's cool that they asked me to do that.
So, what's the craziest thing to happen to you, like on tour in any band?
Oh man, I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff. I can't really say it right now. But oh wow. I mean, being broken down in the desert with no help was pretty interesting. But there's so many stories. 30 years doing this, you can pretty much imagine anything that you could imagine has pretty much happened.
Yeah.
So.
Is there any band that you would like to tour with that you haven't already toured with?
Well, it would be awesome to tour with Slayer. I've never toured with them. I mean, that would be cool because they've influenced all of us basically. That would be amazing. To tour maybe with like the original Celtic Frost lineup would be amazing. Yeah.
So, are you excited to continue this tour?
Absolutely. It's going to be a great tour. It's going to be a good tour for the fans as well.
Is there any bands in particular that you've been listening to a lot lately?
Well, I listen to a lot of classic rock and heavy 80s metal. I've been listening to a lot of Dio lately. The Dream Evil album. Yeah. It's an underrated album. I love that album. I always listen to a lot of Thin Lizzy and UFO as well.
Is there any band that you think is like really underrated?
Well, a lot of the bands I listened to from the 80s never made it anywhere.
Oh, really?
So they were all underrated to me. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of old new. I mean, I do listen to a lot of new stuff here and there to sample it, but I can't really think of any right now. Okay.
Is there any musicians that you draw influence from?
Absolutely. Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. They're amazing. those are probably my two favorite.
Yeah. So what's your favorite food when you go on tour?
Well, I would have to say probably Mexican food.
Yeah.
Real Mexican food. I love it so much, and there's so much of it in the South. But barbecue is another favorite.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's but I mean, I try and always find local places. So I'll probably say Mexican food overall is my favorite.
Is there anything other than music that you find that really influences your music writing?
Maybe just a nice, like where I live, it's kind of out in the woods and there's a lot of animals and birds. And I like to sit out on the porch, tranquil environment, and kind of relax. And I don't know, that's about it really. I mean, I'm into sports a lot, so, but I don't know if that really influences my music.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite horror movies?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love a lot of, like my favorite movie of all time probably is The Thing remake. I mean, it could be science fiction horror. I think it's more of a horror movie. It's amazing. I love that. The first Alien movie, Exorcist. I love all the, the Italian horror stuff's amazing too. Yeah.
So if you could have any superpower, which one would you have?
Oh wow. Well, I mean, it's always would be nice to be super strong.
Yeah.
But I think if you could turn invisible would be cool too, because you could like sneak into places and find the winning lottery numbers and stuff or something.
Yeah, I guess you could also rob a bank if that was the case.
I don't know. So I mean, maybe just being super strong, I guess, would be cool.
What do you like most about touring?
I just like performing for the kids, for the fans. The whole production of coming into a club and setting up and playing, and the whole watching kids, come in and out, and that whole thing. Plus, you get to see the country and hang out with your friends a lot, so it's nice.
What made you get into metal in the first place?
Well, I had an uncle a few years older than me that was totally into a lot of hard rock at the time and stuff like that. So early on, I was kind of into the darker stuff, and just, when Iron Maiden and Judas Priest started coming up and stuff like that, just got into that. And then that turns into like Slayer and Hellhammer and stuff across, and then that turns into dark, just everything. So I just love metal. I love the power of it, the feel of it,
Are there any like new metal bands, like recent metal bands that you like a lot?
I mean, I always enjoy hearing what Dying Fetus do, Necrophagist, I like them a lot. I don't even know if they're around anymore. I'm not really into the super fast blasting stuff, I'm not really into that. I like more of the traditional kind of stuff like Autopsy and that kind of stuff. So I don't really listen to a whole lot of new stuff.
I gotcha. Is there like a favorite place that you like to tour at, like country or city?
Well, I mean, I always love going to Amsterdam, to Holland, and Germany. It's amazing. Japan is incredible. It's always fun to tour in the States because it's familiar, it's where we're from, but probably overall, probably Europe.
If you could have like one dream tour, what would it be?
Well, like bands?
Yeah.
Probably like Slayer and Us, and maybe Iron Maiden and Judas Priest all together.
That would be a big one.
Us opening, and and lots of fans, and just all over the world. It'd be cool. Yeah.
So, do you have any advice for starting death metal bands?
Well, the main thing is you need to be good at what you do. So practice. I know that's cliche, but practice as often as you can, and that way when you do get a chance to play out live, you sound good, because no one wants to hear a crappy band,
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Practice, and try and record a demo or something, and it's easy nowadays with all the Pro Tools and home recording stuff,
Yeah.
And the business side of it, don't sign anything until you have a lawyer look at it,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the way to do it, so.
Do you have a favorite metal subgenre?
Probably, I mean, I love doom metal a lot, a lot of doom stuff. I'm into some progressive stuff as long as it's not like stopping, starting, like the gent kind of stuff. I'm not totally into that at all. So probably doom metal is my favorite subgenre, or maybe even just metal. You know.
Yeah. Would you ever start a doom metal or progressive metal band?
I'd love to. I'd love to start a doom metal band, but that might be a little cliche nowadays. It just seems like there's 100 stoner rock bands out everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, there's some doom metal that isn't stoner.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you find it hard to go touring, because you guys have been touring a lot? Do you find it hard to tour and balance family?
Sometimes it is difficult. You know, I have kids and grandchildren too, so you know, it's bittersweet. You know, you're making money on the road, you're doing what you love, but also that's 2 months you don't see their faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or hear them talk, which you can through Skype, but you know what I mean. You're not there, so.
Yeah. Is there well, what do you do like when you're home, when you're not touring?
Mostly just family stuff, you know. I'm pretty hands-on with my grandchildren. They're over at our house a lot. Do that a lot. I hang out with friends and play sports. Go to sporting events, that kind of stuff. And just, I grow a lot. I grow plants, you know. I love growing peppers, hot peppers and stuff. So there's a lot of things I can do to keep busy.
When you were starting out in the 80s Florida death metal scene, did you find it hard to find the money to tour and go on tour with all those bands?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, when we first started out, you put out a few demos, and there was always a good metal scene in Tampa because of bands like Nancy Savage and Sabotage. Those are like heroes from one town. But you know, we played local shows, and then metal at that time, and especially death metal, was so new that everyone was hungry for it. So people over Europe and overseas heard your demos and stuff, and they wanted to hear it, you know. So you got kind of a nice following in all the fanzines. There was no internet or anything like that, so it was all about fanzines and magazines and word of mouth, you know.
So how did you first find out about shows? Was it your uncle who helped you find the local death metal shows, or did you do that from your friends?
I went to school with a few friends, and one of them was like, you know, there's a band called Nancy Savage. You should come see them play. I think you'd like them, you know. And I bought their demo and we went and saw one of their shows, and that was it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be like that.
Yeah. So when you were just getting started, did you have a hard time like writing music, or did it just come to you really?
Well, it's easier now. You know, when you first start playing music, it's a bit clumsy for you, you know.
Yeah.
And you just try and, you know, you write music, but if you go back and listen to what you wrote 30 years ago, you might laugh. But you got to start somewhere, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier now because you know more. I know more, so.
All right, well, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for doing the interview.
You're welcome.